Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my Stamina Warden build for the Scribes of Fate chapter. I really enjoyed this build. It's been hitting really hard, and I love the damage on this thing, and the healing's really nice too. The tankiness feels really good, so I hope that you guys enjoy. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. We just passed 5,100 subs, and we're moving right along to 5,200, then 6K, and I'm just so excited. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching. But guys, without further ado, let's get on with the build. Alright, let's get started. First things first, we're going to look at our character sheet. We are going to be a Khajiit on our Warden. Khajiit is really good for your overall damage. It hits really hard and is one of my favorite races in the game. I have been really liking this. It's very versatile for Warden because you can try a bunch of different builds. So I really like Khajiit for this build in particular as well. Our attributes are going to be 6 points into magic, 14 points into health, and 44 points into stamina to give us a max magic pool of 17k. A max health pool of 28.7k, which goes up to about 31k when you get your minor toughness buff. And then your max stam is going to be 22.7k. Our Mundus is going to be the warrior to increase our weapon damage as much as possible. And then we're also going to be Vampire Stage 3 because of that Undeath passive. The Undeath passive, for those of you guys that don't know, because there are still some people that ask me about it, because why not? Reduces your damage taken by up to 30% based on your missing health. So basically, the less health you have, the more tanky you become. Then also, we're going to be using Orzoga Smoked Bear Haunch for our food. It's going to increase our max health by 4,300 and our stamina and magic recovery by 369 for 2 hours. If you cannot afford this, because it is a very expensive food, at least on PCNA it is, Jewels of Misrule basically does the same thing. You miss a little bit of max health and you miss 12 stamina and magic recovery. It's basically the exact same thing for insanely cheaper amounts of gold. Our gear is going to break down like this. Our helmet is going to be Helm of the Fire, so this is going to be on our body at all times. So this set gives us weapon and spell damage, max stam, crit chance. Then when you deal damage with a weapon, you deal an additional 3,169 flame damage, and that could occur once every 2 seconds. So it says when you deal damage with a weapon, that also includes weapon abilities. So we're going to be using Rending as one of our abilities on this build. And since the Rending dot is still technically under the class of doing damage with a weapon, this set procs every 2 seconds when you have that rending dot on somebody. So it is just so much extra sustained damage. I have been putting this on so many of my builds lately because this set has been honestly so good, and I definitely recommend it. So that's going to be on our body at all times, and those pieces are going to be our helmet in the heavy reinforced trait, our chest piece in the heavy reinforced trait, and our legs in the heavy reinforced trait. We're going to be using one piece of a monster set on this build. It's going to be a light Balorg's shoulder in the Divine's trait to increase our weapon and spell damage, because our one piece on that gives us extra weapon and spell damage. Then our other body pieces are going to be Wretched Vitality. Wretched Vitality is just going to give you a bunch of recovery. So this 2-piece magic recovery, the 3-piece stamina recovery, the 4-piece is weapon and spell damage, and then the 5th piece is while in combat, applying a major buff or debuff to a target grants you 260 magic recovery and stamina recovery for 15 seconds. The same thing with a minor buff for 130 magic and stamina recovery. So it's about 400 overall between the 5-piece. And that is basically just a few of your abilities. If you apply a minor buff or debuff to yourself, so something along the lines of, let's just look at our skills real quick. So if you just apply your Ice Fortress right here, you're going to get both major resolve, so it's going to proc one condition of your Wretched Vitality, and then also minor protection. That's going to give you the minor part of the buff. So you're going to be getting 400 recovery for that because of your Wretched Vitality. So that is phenomenal. So we're going to be using Impen Hands in medium. We're going to be using a medium belt in Impen as well, and a medium boots in Well Fitted. Our jewelry is going to break down like this. We're also going to be using Way of the Fire for our jewelry pieces because it's a heavy set, and honestly I prefer to be in medium for most of the body as well. So we're going to be using Necklace of the Fire in the infused trait with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. We're going to be using Mark and Ring of the Majesty to increase our weapon and spell damage by 200, and it's also going to give us 200. I'm sorry, I am not speaking well today. It's also going to give us 2,314 armor as well. Again, in the infused trait with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. I prefer infused over bloodthirsty personally because it's going to buff our overall healing as well, and I feel like the damage is fine with this build already. And then our other ring is going to be an infused Ring of the Fire with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it as well. Our front bar weapons are going to be dual wield perfected master's maces. Our main hand is going to be Nirnhoned with a poison damage enchantment on it. Our offhand is going to be sharpened with a physical damage enchantment on it. So the perfected line of the master's maces gives you crit chance. Then the two piece of it gives an extra 1635 damage to your damage with your rending abilities. So that is really just an extra source of damage, and that's gonna be what's the skill that you're going to be using to hit Wave the Fire. So between your Master's Maces hitting harder and then your Wave the Fire, you're doing a lot of dot pressure on this as well. And then our back bar weapon is going to be Ice Staff of Wretched Vitality in the defending trait with an increased weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. So a lot of people still ask me why I use Ice Staff on this build or on any of my builds for my back bar. So Ice Staff gives you reduced cost on blocking by 36% and increases the amount of damage you can block by 20% as well. So I definitely recommend using Ice Staff. It is just a very versatile back bar, and it's really nice to have two different weapons that gives you, if you heavy attack, your front bar is going to give you stand back and your back bar is going to give you magic back in case you need either one. For our skills, I'm going to break down like this. We're going to be using Rending Slashes. This is going to be the damage this is going to be the morph that gives you more damage. So this is going to be what procs both your Master's Dual Wield Maces and your Wave the Fire. So it is a great source of upfront damage. Then on top of that, the bleed afterwards is very strong as well. Bird of Prey, this is going to give you a lot of buffs. It's going to give you Major Expedition for 6 seconds. And then you also gain immunity to snares and immobilizations for 4 seconds as well. So it's a great snare removal. And then just by having it slotted, you have Minor Berserk. So it's going to increase your damage done overall by 5%. And then Shimmering Shield. I have been loving this ability lately because I have been getting sniped constantly in this game. So just hitting this on your enemies or on yourself so that your enemies do hit it, you're basically getting major heroism at all times. So you're just throwing out ults so fast. I have been absolutely loving this so much, and it's a great source of mitigation for your damage. There is a lot of incoming range damage, and this really mitigates that a lot. And then Deep Fissure, this is going to be your main burst that you're going to try and line up. This is going to do a nice burst to your enemies on the 3-second duration. Then on the 6-second, it's even more. And then on top of that, you're also going to be afflicting your enemies with Major and Minor Breach. So it's going to reduce their physical and spell resistance by 6k and 3k for 10 seconds. So that is huge. And then Whirling Blades, this is going to be your execute. So when you see your enemies at low health or they're roll dodging, honestly, this is a great source of damage. And then Dawnbreaker, the ultimate is old as time. It just lines up really well. If you do Sub Assault, then you do Rending, Dawnbreaker, then like Rending or Whirling Blades again, you're doing a lot of damage to your enemies, and I definitely recommend trying that combo out. It's a very, standard combo for Stamden, and it's a lot of fun. It melts a lot of people. And then Arctic Blast, this is going to be your main burst heal. This is what's got the highest tooltip out of any of your heals. And also on top of that, it stuns your enemy if they're close by too, so that's great. Bull Netch, this is going to be your source of Major Brutality, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 20%. And it's also going to restore a little bit of stam to you over the duration. It's not too much, but it's still something. Then on top of that, every 5 seconds, the Netch is going to remove 1 negative effect from you. And then Resolving Vigor, this is going to be your main heal over time. It's going to heal you for a nice chunk over 5 seconds. And then it's also going to give you a Minor Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 3k for 20 seconds. And then Leeching Vines, this is going to be your other heal over time on this build, alternating between Resolving Vigor and then Leeching Vines. This is a great way to keep your heals over time up, and a great way to stay tanky when you're taking a lot of damage. Then also you can get Minor Lifesteal on this, so it's going to steal health from your enemies every 1 second. And then Ice Fortress. This is a great ability for multiple reasons. Obviously, it's going to give you your major resolve, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k for 30 seconds. Then also, that minor protection is huge on your back bar as well. So, I mean, you're just going to get on your entire character, but having minor protection on both bars saves it so you don't need to run your undo on your back bar, so that it frees up your ultimate slot, which is going to be Northern Storm. And the amount of damage that you can combo with Northern Storm and then comboing your regular rending Whirling Blades off, the amount of damage you can combo off is so nice. It's great for attacking multiple enemies at once. And then on top of that, you're also going to get major protection when you activate this, reducing your damage taken by 10%. So it makes you tanky, but it also does a lot of damage. And then our champion points are going to break down like this. Our blue slottables are going to be Focus Mending, Mastered Arms, Cleansing Revival, Ironclad. Our red slottables are going to be Sustained by Suffering, Survival Instincts, Pain's Refuge, and Celerity. And our green slottables, the only things that really matter on this build are Rationer, Liquid Efficiency. We've got Sustained by Shadows, and then Seed's Blessing. Who really cares about those two? They don't really matter too much to this build. But as always, Breakfall is very important. But guys, thank you so much for watching. That is the entire build. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Also, let me just show you guys real quick first. Yeah, so overall, when we get our minor toughness buff, we're up to 31.3k. And as you can see by this map in Cyrodiil, how do I zoom out on whatever? I don't know, I'm using keyboard and mouse. I don't know how to use that. I'm a controller gamer. As you can see, we don't have emperorship or anything. We don't have any scrolls. So these buffs are the base level. If you're playing and if you don't have any kind of scroll, like if you have any kind of scrolls, you're gonna automatically have better stats than this. Sorry, I can't speak for anything today, so I'm just gonna end the video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I know it's a very standard thing to say, but please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. We just passed 5,100 subs and we're on our way to 6k slowly but surely, so thank you guys so much. Also, if you want to see builds like this live in action, you can catch me live at twitch.tv/Sekaar, where I stream 5 days a week. Come check it out. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.